Hello and assalamu alaikum everyone. A very warm welcome to the Strategic Business Leader Webinar to Success. I am your tutor, Kashif Kamran. Now this webinar to success is spread over the next 4 days, and we have a very specific agenda for each day, which I will be telling you shortly. And each day will bring you closer to success in the SBL upcoming exams in December 2021. So welcome to the webinar. Let's start first with my tutor profile. I hope you all know me from my advanced audit and assurance webinars, which I do on a more regular basis. And this is my first SBL webinar I am doing for the SBL students, those appearing in exams in December 2021. Now, in terms of my tutor profile, on your screen in front of you, I am Kashif Kamran, a fellow chartered certified accountant. In terms of my teaching experience, it's been 14 years since I'm teaching the ACCA qualification, and my core specialization lies in not just the AA and AAA paper, but I am regularly teaching the SBL paper since the September 2018, when the SBL examination started. I am the owner and I head the Online Lecturers Academy, which is my online platform where I deal with students internationally and offer them the online classes. I'm also associated with PAC, which is a gold approved learning provider of ACCA in Lahore, Pakistan. And this session is in collaboration with PAC as well. I have conducted 14 consecutive AAA webinars for ACCA Pakistan, and I hope a lot of you must be knowing me from those webinars internationally. I'm also a registered mentor for the Oxford Brookes University Research Project. So this is my profile, and I thought I should share that with you so that you know me as a tutor before I start my webinar to success for SBL. Now, moving onwards, and this is how you can be connected with me on the social media. You can follow me on my Facebook page for SBL, which is facebook.com/SBL by KK. You can follow me on the Instagram, where it is instagram.com/kashif.kamran. You can follow me on the LinkedIn, which is linkedin.com/in/kashif-kamran. You can follow me on the YouTube, and that's very important because I keep posting videos for SBL and AAA on my YouTube channel. So you will be more interested in that. And even the recording of this webinar will be getting on my YouTube channel. So that's youtube.com/kashif-kamran. If you have any queries, you want to ask something, you can email me at sblkashifkamran@gmail.com. And then you have my WhatsApp number at the bottom of the screen, which is given. On the right-hand side, you can see there is a hyperlink given for the WhatsApp group. If you're still not part of the SBL webinar WhatsApp group for December 21, you can be part of it by clicking on the hyperlink. You will be getting these presentations on the WhatsApp group, so nothing to worry about. If you're part and parcel of the WhatsApp group, you will be getting the daily recording of the webinar along with the support file, which I will be using in the webinar, and you can be part of the WhatsApp group as well. Okay, now this is how you can be with me and you can interact with me over the next 14 days by the social media. Now, let's move on and let's start with the actual agenda, why we are meeting today. This is the SBL Webinar to Success for December 21 exams. And the very first thing we're looking for is the objective of this webinar. So you're very clear, the passing rates of SBL internationally, and then the paper format before we go down to the specific agenda on a day-wise basis. So just a quick 5 minutes over the objective, pass rates, and the paper format. Now, in terms of the objective of this webinar to success, the objective is to provide you the right direction, which is very, very important at this point in time when exams are just 2 weeks away. So 2 weeks away, the exams, and I hope all of you need the right direction. I hope you're finished with your preparation by this point in time, but you just need a fine tuning. And this webinar will exactly give you the fine tuning you need to pass the SBL, because I believe when the exams are 14 days away, you are not sitting down to study. By this time, you should have studied the SBL, but you should sit down to do the past papers, or you should focus on the tips and techniques to improve your chances of success in the upcoming SBL exam. So that's where this webinar will be very helpful to all of you. The right direction to pass the SBL exams, a direction that is closer to the examiner mindset. Because if you are not making your examiner happy, or if you are not making your assessor happy, or you're not making your marker happy, you will not pass the SBL paper. So in order to pass the SBL paper, I think it's extremely important that you bridge the gap between yourself and the examiner. So if there is a bridging of gap between you and the SBL examiner, you will definitely pass the SBL paper. So you need to focus on that a lot. These sessions over the next 4 days will be a mind opener for all of you, as you will get the right tips and techniques to control the SBL paper and the right way to practice. So over the next 4 days, you will get lots of tips. And then when you sit down after 4 days, and you exactly have 10 days remaining for exams, you will get benefit of this 4 days. You will get benefit of the tips and techniques you will be getting over the 4 days. So keep a pen and paper with you. And when you're listening to me, anything which comes to you and you think it's beneficial, just put it down on a pen on a paper with you. This webinar to success will also mitigate your misconceptions about the SBL paper. If you have any misunderstandings about marking schemes, you have any misunderstanding about professional marks, you have any misunderstanding about the formats, etc., this webinar will also be mitigating that. So let's start the journey to give you the right direction. I hope you're all ready, set for the webinar. Pass rates, very encouraging when you look at a paper at a strategic level. And at a strategic level, when you look at passing rates around 50%, that's quite soothing, because we know for the strategic optional exams, the passing rates are just at the start of 30s, 30 to 35. But when you look at the strategic business leader, which is a mandatory exam at a strategic level, the passing rates are more and less on the 50 zone, with the exception of some exam settings like December 20, where it just dipped below 50, and then the June 21. I would not take June 21 as a very important exam sitting, because that was a time when papers were cancelled in majority of the countries because of the COVID. And the June 21 was a very extraordinary exam sitting in terms of papers were cancelled in lots of countries. So we don't get the right database exactly. So 46 should not be considered as the low side of SBL. But even if you do consider 46 as a low side, it's not bad. It's roughly 50% student passing SBL paper in each and every exam sitting. So 50% is not a bad threshold. And that means if you put the right effort and you put the right amount of effort over the next 14 days, you will definitely be among the 50% students who pass SBL in the first go. So it's quite motivating passing rates internationally for the SBL paper, and with a very high of 51% back again in September 21. Syllabus, very diversified syllabus for SBL, and that's make SBL a very good paper. You have so much diversity in the syllabus when you look at the 8 syllabus areas on your screen now. Syllabus area A downwards to syllabus area H, which is a total of 8 syllabus areas, and so much diversity in the syllabus area, and so much you must have learned over the previous ACCA papers from the initial papers, the applied skill papers. You have topics like very journal topic like leadership, you have governance, you have strategy. Strategy is a very main area for SBL because the paper itself is strategic business leader. So strategy plays a very crucial part in your success in SBL exams. Risk is a very important area. Risk comes very regularly in the past papers. And I believe risk is a very regular feature of almost every single exam sitting for SBL. There are some exam sittings where there is not a single question on risk, but more and less you do find a 15 to 20% weightage given to risk in the exam settings for SBL. So risk is an important area. You cannot ignore the importance of risk in SBL 100 marks paper. Technology and data analytics, that's a good area. It tests your mindset about how much you know about technology, how much you know about robotics, artificial intelligence, data analytics. I'll be guiding you something about that in my session today. Particularly, there is a change in the syllabus area E, which I need to spell out with you today. So you should be prepared for that. So syllabus changes, right? Which came in September 21 exams will be addressed in this webinar as well today. So if you are if you have done a topic and that is deleted from the syllabus, you should know that. Or if you have not done a topic and that's part of the syllabus now, you should know that as well. So I'll be putting a focus on that today as well. Organizational control and audit, a pretty simple area, much of the knowledge coming from your AA paper, knowing about the internal auditor, knowing about the internal controls, knowing about the importance of an audit committee in the organization. So syllabus area F is quite a flat syllabus area. Finance and planning and decision making is another important area, because a lot of time we do get the financial data in the SBL paper and you need to analyze the financial data, or you need to evaluate the financial data for taking a decision. So having a financial data and evaluating the financial data, conducting the ratio analysis or conducting the NPV analysis, some sort of calculations, again, is being a regular part of the paper. And finally, enabling success and change management. How can you enable success in the organization, and how can you ensure there is a change management in place? How can you bring about change in the organization, and how effectively you should manage a change in the organization? Quite diversified syllabus. We have technology, we have risk, we have governance, we have controls, we have leadership, we have finance, we have change management. There's so much in the syllabus, right? But what's the best way to go about syllabus? I'll be discussing that. Is it a rote learn syllabus, books, going deep into books, reading the BBB book? Is that the right strategy? Is that the right way you should be going with SBL? We'll be discussing that today shortly. But that's the syllabus in front of you. So you should do a self-appraisal where you are standing in terms of the syllabus. Which syllabus areas have you covered so far? Which are still left with? You have 14 more days to go. Okay, the final thing, paper format in this initial discussion of the webinar. Now, when you look at the paper format, it's a pretty simple looking paper format, no complexities with it. A strategic business leader is a case study exam. So that's where the focus is. A case study exam cannot be passed with a rote learn knowledge. So if you're believing that I'll read a book over the next 14 days, I'll spend time on the book and I'll just absorb the book in my mind. No, that's a failure in SBL. You cannot just absorb the book and say, oh, I'll pass the SBL paper. That will not happen, because it's a case study exam, right? A case study exam means any student who is conceptually strong, and any student who knows how to write a good answer, and any student who knows how to pick the answer from a case study will pass. But if you are a bad student, you don't know how to pick the answer from the case, and you cannot elaborate on something given in the case, you cannot explain something given in the case, or you cannot analyze something given in the case, or evaluate something given in the case, or discuss something given in the case, you might fail the SBL exam. So it's a case study exam, right? Which is spread on 4 hours, which is a big enough time. But we know this 4 hours should be utilized in the best way. And I'll be giving you a phenomena of how you should be going down with the 4-hour utilization, including the reading and planning time and the reflection time. So the 4 hours is the maximum you have, right? You need to read, you need to plan, you need to write, reflect in all the 4 hours. So how would you go about breaking the 4 hours, utilizing the 4 hours? I'll be giving you a better methodology of that. A strategic business leader is an exam based on one main scenario. So there is no multiple case studies. There is one case study. So the case study is one, and you need to read that case study and you need to find the answer. So one case study with several requirements. There might be 3 requirements, 4 requirements, 5 requirements. There might be 1A, 1B, 1C, 2A, 2B, 2C. There might be 3A, 3B, 4A, 4B. There might be 4 to 5 requirements on one case study. So you have to read one case study. It can be about a hotel industry. It can be about a non-profit organization. It can be about an airline company. It can be about a banking company. It can be about one company and everything about one company. And the examiner will tell you everything about one single company in one single scenario. And you need to read that one single scenario, and then you have requirements to deal with. So you have one main scenario, but that's quite a long scenario, ideally like 10 to 12 pages, which involve candidates completing several tasks. So you have several tasks to do with that one main scenario. So one scenario with multiple tasks, and you have lots of exhibits to read in that one scenario. So one scenario with exhibit 1 and exhibit 2 and exhibit 3 and exhibit 4. I'll just be showing you a glimpse of that on my upcoming days, that how you look at that big case study and how you filter down the case study to get the best answer. All questions are compulsory. Definitely, it's a strategic professional exams, no choices, and each exam will contain 80 technical marks and 20 professional marks. And I believe this is the core part here, 20 professional marks. You need to learn more about this over the next 4 days of the webinar. Professional marks. I believe technical marks is an area where you are good at, because technical marks is something you find in every ACCA paper. Because that's the question. Explain something, discuss something, recommend something. That's a core question, right? But with that core question, 80 marks, you have professional skills to be applied. And any student who gets more of the 20 marks will pass. I believe at least you should aim of getting 15 marks out of 20. Any student who gets 15 marks or more than 15 marks out of 20 will definitely pass the SBL paper. But if you're getting like 5 to 6 marks out of 20, you're failing the SBL paper. Honestly, you need to score good marks out of 20 to pass the SBL paper. And that's pretty simple. You will be learning over the next 4 days. It's not difficult. I think students have lots of fear factor when it comes to the 20 professional marks. Am I right? If you can answer that. Am I right? There are a lot of fear factor among the student community when it comes to 20 professional marks. Is that true? Is that false? On your chat box. Is that true? Okay, so you still have that fear factor 14 days away from your exams? Everyone, you still have that fear factor? So this webinar will mitigate that. Rather, I should say it will eliminate that, because I will be giving you some excellent techniques on those professional marks, which will really improve your confidence level on the professional marks, right? But I believe technical marks is not difficult. Is that true? Is that false? Technical marks are difficult. True, false? Technical marks are difficult. True, false? False. Okay, good. Okay, lots of false. Okay, Ikra is saying true. Okay, so you even find the technical marks difficult. That's interesting. Okay, but most of you went with the false option. The technical marks are difficult, and you said false. So most of you believe technical marks are easy. It's about the professional marks which makes things difficult, right? Okay, that's good. So we'll see a blend of technical marks and professional marks over the next 4 days. Nothing to worry about. But that's how the paper format looks like. Okay, moving on. Key aspects to focus on in the SBL paper, and then I give you the agenda. When you look at the SBL paper, the first thing which is key is the utilizing of the 4 hours. How will you go about utilizing the 4 hours? Now that's a challenge to me. 4 hours is a very good time, but how to utilize it, it's important, because if you're not utilizing it, you are wasting it. You are not getting the 50% marks in SBL. You might get lost in that 4 hours. You might not know how to utilize the 4 hours. You might be spending a lot more time on reading or a lot less time on writing. So you should have a mechanism by now, 14 days away from exams. I hope each and every one of you have a mechanism of how you're utilizing the 4 hours. You must have found something. Some of you might be utilizing 1 hour on reading and planning time. Some might be utilizing less than that on reading and planning time, because every student by now must have found the right formula of utilizing the 4 hours. And I'll be speaking on that more shortly. Next, one scenario is a challenge itself, because you're looking at one case study with several requirements, and you need to get involved in that case study. The more you get involved in the case study, the better. So the more you get involved in the case study, the better. So you need to find your involvement increasing over the next 4 days. How much you involve in the case study. because there is a word, I hope you're all familiar with that word, known as the role play. So role playing is important, because you must have seen questions in the SBL paper which says you are someone. So when you are someone, you have to get involved in the case study, and then the best answer comes out of it. So involving in the case study, how would you go about it? We have a very specific agenda in the webinar about that. Next, 80 technical marks. That's pretty simple, as you do in other exams. I believe you hold that true, everyone. Again, can you give me your opinions on that? 80 technical marks, that's pretty simple. Yes, there can be some complexities with it. We'll be addressing that in the webinar, but I believe that's pretty simple because you do in the other papers. Do you agree with that statement? Statement number 3. Can you just give me your answers quickly? Do you agree or disagree? Okay, thank you very much for that agreement. Okay, relatively simple. That's quite a diplomatic answer. Good answer. Okay, so then comes the difficult part. 20 professional marks. That's really important, because expecting to pass an SBL scoring 0 from the 20 is difficult. You say, okay, I'll score 50 marks out of 80. Let's leave 20. You will never pass the SBL paper. You need to trust me on this. So if anyone says, okay, out of 80 marks, I'll score 50. And out of the remaining 20 marks, I score 0. No, that's a very bad methodology towards SBL. So you need to score a minimum 15 marks out of 20 to progress well towards your barrier of 50 to pass the SBL paper. We'll be discussing a lot more on that, because that's what we have over the next 4 days. And that's where you will be getting the right tips and techniques. So I hope with like 20 minutes into the session, I hope you're finding some clues and something which is in store in this webinar. Yes, the session will be recorded and will be uploaded on the YouTube channel as well, so nothing to worry about. This is what I would recommend. This is an ideal strategy given by ACCA, by the SBL examining team. They suggest that students should have a reading and planning time, which should be somewhere between 40 to 60 minutes. Now, some of you might take 60, some might take 50, some might take 40. Should not be less than 40, because there's a lot to read. If you're taking less than 40, you might not be reading well. So 40 to 60 minutes. Now, by this point in time, every one of you should have found either you are a student with 40, 50, or 60. How much time you're taking on reading? So 60 is the maximum, 40 is the minimum. So you need to find something between that, but not more than that. So that is the recommendable reading and planning time. How you go about reading and planning, webinar will be telling you about that. Nothing to worry about. What's the best methodology to read and plan? I'll be covering that, so don't worry about it. Then the writing time, right? The writing time you have is 240 minutes. Sorry, you have the total time 240 minutes. And out of those 240 minutes, you are taking 40 to 60 minutes of your reading and planning time. So you have a total 240 minutes in total. And out of that, for example, you take 60 minutes to read and plan. So you have 180 minutes to write an answer. You have 180 minutes to write an answer. So this is basically the total time, right? You have in exams. And in this total time, you need to deduct this 40 to 60 minutes. So your writing time is ideally 180 minutes, or might be, if you're taking less than 60 minutes to read and plan, you might be taking a writing time of like 200 minutes. So 180 to 200 minutes is the writing time you have, which is pretty fine, right? So you have total 240 minutes, sorry. In that 240 minutes, you have 40 to 60 minutes of the reading and planning time. So you deduct that from 240 and you have a writing time of either 180 minutes to 200 minutes. Now, I hope by this point in time, you must have found how much time you're taking to write the answers. Is anyone who's practicing, can you just give me answers? How much time are you taking to read and plan by now? 14 days away from exams. How much average time you're taking to read and plan the past papers? Please, I'll be waiting for your answers. Okay, 60, 90. Okay, almost 45 minutes, 100, 2 hours, 50 to 60 minutes, 60 minutes. Okay. So those of you who are around 50 to 60 minutes, even 70 to 80 minutes are fine because you're practicing at home, not in the exam environment. But those of you who are taking like 2 hours, you need to improve upon that. That you need to read things in a very less time. So I think 2 hours or 90 minutes is something way beyond. Try to fit within 60. So if any one of you is like 70, 80, at home, you might get to 60 in exam. So that's pretty fine, right? So the recommendable time is 60 maximum minutes to read and plan. And I will be giving you suggestions on that how can you manage it. And the maximum writing time you have is either 200 minutes or 180 minutes on the minimum side. So you need to find the way to write an answer in 3 hours. 3 hours is a good time to write answers because normally in the other papers, we write answers and we read in 3 hours. In other papers, we read and we write in 3 hours, right? So in this paper, we are getting the writing time, which is 3 hours, and the reading time is extra. But still, why are you struggling with it? That's a big question. In the other papers, you have 3 hours in which you read and in which you write. And you still have 100 marks. In this paper, you still have 100 marks, but you have 1 extra hour in which you read and plan. And in the remaining 3 hours, you write. So I find it comparatively easier, but I don't know why you find it more difficult. How many of you agree with me that in the other papers, you have 3 hours, 100 marks, and you do everything in it? In this paper, you have an extra 1 hour, still 100 marks. You have to do everything in it. So what's the difficulty? Yes, I agree. The questions are challenging and not confused. They're challenging questions. And you have 1 hour to deal with them. You have 1 hour to read them. You have 1 hour to understand them. So I'll be coming to that. Why questions are confusing, why questions are difficult, because we have a drill inside this webinar on that perspective as well. So I'll be coming to that strange comment from some students, confusing questions. So questions are really confusing. Wait for the webinar to answer that. Is everyone clear with the time management? I'm really sorry, I just used the minutes with hours. It's 60 minutes and 240 minutes in total, right? So 240 minutes in total, and out of that, you have 60 minutes maximum to read and plan. Okay, now to the agenda of the webinar, which is now of your interest. We just covered some basic things before coming to the agenda, just like a warm-up of the webinar. So you are all warm up to this SBL webinar to success. Now coming to the agenda of the webinar. Now, when I was preparing the agenda and I was thinking that when this webinar will go on air live, we will have 14 days away. We will be 14 days away from exams, right? So I sit down and I realize that when we are 14 days away from exams, what should exactly be going in a student mindset? What should a student be thinking on the 22nd of November today, when you have exams coming up on the 7th of December? What's going in your mindset? And I sit down with my pen and paper and I put a lot of agendas. I cut and then put a new agenda, then cut and put a new agenda. And I've changed lots of agendas. And then I come back with this as a final one. Approaching the SBL exams, there's 14 days to go. That's the first thing I want to discuss. With 2 weeks to go, what should you do? And I should be spending a lot of time on it today. Recent changes in the SBL syllabus. If you're not familiar with that, this webinar will make you familiar with that. These changes were introduced from September 21 exams and are applicable up to the June 2022 exams. So you should know about those changes when you're preparing yourself for the December 21 exams. Key resource library and how to use it. Are you using the right resources to prepare yourself for the upcoming exams? Are you missing on a resource which you should read? Are you missing on a resource which you miss and you fail? So we'll be looking at a key resource library and how to go about using it. Learning from the examiner feedback, that's extremely important. So many students are unaware of the examiner feedback. So many students don't even bother about reading the examiner report. How many of you have read examiner reports by now? Tell me. Your time starts now. Either write in the chat box, read, not read. Okay, one no answer already. Okay, two no answers. Third no answer. Fourth no answer. Fifth. Okay, so quite a good list of no's, right? Like 5 to 6 students saying no. So that means there is like a tendency, some of you are reading it, some of you are not, but you will get to know from this webinar exactly how crucial the examining reports are and what you get out of it. Because if you are not reading examiner reports, you're not at all aware of your examiner expectations and the examiner criticism. And you might do the same mistake in December 21 exams. So by the time you don't read the previous examiner reports, how will you know what student do wrong and what student do right? And if something is wrong and you're not aware of it and you're still doing it in the December 21 exams, you will fail yourself. So reading the examiner report is very important because they provide you a constructive feedback, which is extremely important. They provide you the strengths of the student, they provide you the weaknesses of the student, which you should be knowing because you need to overcome the weaknesses ahead of the December 21 exam. So I have a very special recommendation for you on the examiner reports, which I will be sharing with you shortly. The next agenda I thought is to discuss gaining professional marks, a deep insight. I've kept one full day of this webinar just on professional marks, one full day for 20% of the paper. And that one full day is tomorrow, which is the day 2. And on day 2 tomorrow, we'll just be spending our time on professional marks, and the entire part will be focused on how to gain professional marks. And that will really be a breakthrough tomorrow on the day 2. Gaining technical marks. I've kept one full day in the webinar for gaining technical marks. How you go about gaining technical marks, because there were some students today who were saying requirements are confusing. We don't know requirements. We struggle with requirements. 80% of the paper. So one day on 20% of the paper, one day on 80% of the paper. So once we know the professional side and once we know the technical side, we'll spend the last day of the webinar on deep investigation of a full case study on the practice platform. So we'll go to the practice platform with one full case study of 100 marks. Knowing the professional side, knowing the technical side, we'll sit down on the final day of the webinar with the practice platform in front of our screen with one case study of 100 marks, and we'll start going over it in an organized manner. And that will give you a breakthrough how you read, how you plan, how you write, what you should do on a practice platform, what you should not do on a practice platform, how you go about copy paste, how you go about scratch pads, how you go about the word processor, etc. So that is one final day as well. Now I broke this on 4 days. Today, on the very first day, I will be discussing with you approaching SBL with 14 days to go, because I need to give you a study planner so that you can implement that from today after the webinar comes to an end. Recent changes, so you are familiar with that, and key resource library, which you should start using in the next 14 days, and some key tips. So this is the very first day today. On the second day, it's all about professional marks. So everything you need to know about 20% of the paper will be tomorrow on the day 2. Then on the day 3, it's about 80% of the paper, all technical marks. And on the final day, the day 4, a deep investigation of a full case study on a practice platform. I hope you like the diversity in this agenda. And I hope this agenda has been chosen to guide you in the next 14 days. I need to ensure the timing of the webinar. that if this webinar would have taken place 1 month ago, then the agenda would have been different. But now this webinar is taking place at a time when the webinar gets over, you have 10 days to exam. Now see, 10 days are not for book readings. 10 days is only for practice. 10 days is only for refining your professional marks, refining your technical marks, refining how you read a case study. So I believe the agenda in front of your screen is an acceptable agenda for all of you when you're getting to this webinar to success. Waiting for your answers. Okay, thank you. Because I need to discuss something very serious with you over the next remaining time of the day one. So we're just going to the start of the day one today. So welcome to the first day. Now, we were just discussing some basic things before we finally entered the day one agenda, which is now in front of your screen. The day one of the December 21 SBL Webinar to Success. I am your tutor, Kashif Kamran. And now let's start discussing the specific agenda for the first day. And now things will be much important for you all to listen. I hope you're all ready. Okay, the first day, and approaching SBL with 14 days to go. Now, if I am in your position as a student, and I know today is the 22nd of November, and 7th of December is my paper. Now, in these 14 days, what should I do? A lot of students are confused at this point. They get demotivated, they get stressed out, they get into the anxiety attacks, they get into panic attacks, and they feel that whatever they have done over the last a month and so, that has just faded out. This is your exam tension time, right? And this is the true exam tension time, which you are coming into now. 14 days before exams is a very crucial time. And the utilization of these 14 days will really play a critical factor in your success and failure in the upcoming exams. So let's start with a guidance on approaching SBL with 14 days to go. Now, over the last few days, I got lots of questions on the WhatsApp groups, over the Facebook, over my email, and etc. And I thought there are some key questions which I should address with you. Number one, a question which I got a lot of time over the last few days was how to go about preparing the SBL paper. But I thought, let's make this question, let's rephrase this question. What to do in these 14 days ahead of my SBL paper? What exactly you should do? How many past papers should I practice? That's a very frequently asked question. Should I do kit? That's a more frequently asked question. Almost every WhatsApp message I see, should I do kit? Which kit? Should I do kit? Which kit? Wait for the answer. What depth of book reading should I require to pass the SBL paper? Questions coming to me. Should we read book? Should we read book? Which book do you recommend? Should we read book? Question mark. Wait for the answer. Is examiner articles important? Should we read examiner articles? Which one should we read? If you tell student, you should read articles, then the student asks, which ones? All of them? Some of them. So one question gets to another question. Wait for the answers. How many mock drills should I do and how? So these are some of the more important questions which I believe will benefit all of you over the next 14 days to come, and every single day counts now. So let's start getting answers to each of the questions you have on your screen currently. Let's go first. 14 days away, and you sit down with a pen and paper after the webinar comes to an end, right? And do a self-appraisal. Ananta, I hope you were asking a question just before the start of the webinar that you got leaves today, and you have next 2 weeks, you have leaves, right? Now, what I would suggest you, Ananta, and all of you, that you should sit down today with a pen and paper, and just do a self-appraisal. Where are you standing today in terms of your SBL preparation? You should do a self-appraisal of yourself today, 22nd of November. Where are you standing in terms of your exam preparation? And then see how much is remaining. Where are you standing today? Have you done 25% of your preparation, 50% of your preparation, 75% of your preparation? Have you done the book reading and you're left with the past papers? Have you done the reading of the articles and you're left with the past papers? Have you done 4 past papers and you're left with another 4 ones? You need to do your self-appraisal. Where are you standing today? And every one of you will be standing at a different point today. Agree, disagree? Every one of you will be standing at a different point today. Some of you will say, we have done everything. Some of you will say, I'm starting today. Some of you will say, oh, I've done with 50%, but I'm still left with 50%. Some of you might say, I've done the books. I need to do the practice. So every one of you are standing at a different point today. Do you all agree with me? So do you need to realize the point where you're standing today? Do you need to realize the point where you are today? So will you sit down with a pen and paper, all of you, and do a self-appraisal where you are exactly today? And then next, now look ahead. You still have 14 days. That is 2 weeks. How would you go about utilizing them? The week 1 and the week 2. What will you do in the week 1? I will be giving you some suggestions. Don't worry about it. And what will you do in week 2? But I don't know, where are you standing? You only know where are you standing. So where are you standing? Find an answer to that. Then see over the next 2 weeks, what should I do? Because you cannot do everything over the next 2 weeks. You need to find the priorities over the next 2 weeks. You cannot just waste time on book reading over the next 2 weeks. Example, you should put time on practice over the next 2 weeks. If you are spending 1 week on the book reading, that's useless at this point in time. Practice. Every day of the next 14 days should be on practice of the past papers. Okay, next, consider your challenges over the next 14 days, your limitations, your constraints. You might be a job going student. You might have a family to look after. You might have multiple papers to appear in December 21 exams. You might have some family pressures. You might have some obstacles. You might have some time pressures. Find them, because till the time you don't find your obstacles, you don't find your challenges, you don't find your constraints, you will not be putting the right timetable you should be putting for the December 21 exams. So I hope you're finding the essence of this self-appraisal, which most of the students don't do. So I hope you will all sit down today and you will deeply investigate where you are as a student, number 1. Then what you should be doing in the next 2 weeks. And what are your challenges? What are your constraints? How much time a day you can give to SPL? How much time a day you can give to your SPL paper? And then plan accordingly the next 2 weeks. I hope you're getting my point here. Set a timetable. I'll help you setting that shortly. But set a timetable, divide that timetable in 2 weeks, and assign priorities. I'll be telling you which are the priorities here, right? But set a timetable. Week 1, what should I do? Week 2, what should I do? And start it based upon your self-appraisal. Assign priorities over the next 2 weeks. Must remember, the more time you put on practice in these last crucial 14 days is the key to success. And the more time you spend on Kaplan and BPP, book readings, you're going away from SPL success, at least. So I hope you found some motivation inside this self-appraisal. I hope this is the right thing you should do when you're starting your last 14 days before exams, everyone. Have you found the self-appraisal as a constructive technique to sit down today and start investigating? Waiting for your answers, everyone. Okay, thank you very much, all of you. Okay, the right study approach, next 14 days as a tutor. What should be the right study approach? You have to change it according to your self-appraisal. This is a right study approach, which is an ideal study approach, but you know where you are standing today. So you have to change this study approach according to your perspective. But this is a recommendable study approach. See how much have you done out of it. I've divided the right study approach into two parts, the knowledge part, which I will be discussing shortly, and then the practice part, because these are the two things which brings you to success in SBL. Knowledge, practice. That's the two things. So over the next 2 weeks, it's either the knowledge or the practice. Now, you need to see where are you standing in terms of knowledge and where you are standing in terms of practice today. Knowledge, examining team articles. Have you ever explored them? How much of them? I will be coming to them shortly, but examining team article is a wonderful resource for knowledge. And the more you read, the better. And the better over the book. And I'll just be coming to that shortly. I'll be giving you a more in-depth analysis on the articles and books in the next 5 minutes. Keep a pen and paper with you for that. Revision of the key models. There are so many models in SBL, right? So many theories in SBL. Have you made a summary of them? Do any one of you have developed a summary or a crux or a synopsis of the models and theories you have in SBL? Have you done it? Anyone? Has anyone made a synopsis of the models, the number of models you have in SBL, the number of theories you have in SBL, like Menlo matrix or like a heat map or a risk register or like an NSOF matrix or like a BCG matrix or like a SWOT analysis? Have you bring them down on one paper? Okay, that's good. That's good. So some of you have made it, right? Because that's, I will just be coming to that and I will just be demonstrating that as well, that how can you make a synopsis? How can you make a synopsis? Even if not on one paper, but at least you have made synopsis, you have made summaries of the models. I hope this is not the right time you go into books. This is the right time you have your study notes. You have your short notes. Either you have the notes of a tutor, you have a notes of a college, or you have your own notes. This is not the right time you're going in the books. And I'll just be telling you how you can make a mind map of the models and the theories. Right? So I will just be telling you how you can make a mind map here. How you can make a mind map here. I will be demonstrating you shortly, but there is so much to retain: theories, models, and the articles. Now, once you've done with the knowledge, you come to practice. Practicing the past papers on the platform. Critically reviewing the marking scheme. And critically review the examiner reports. 3 things: papers, marking scheme, and examiner reports. I will be telling you how should you take them together. How should you take them together? You do a paper, you put the answer to a paper. Now, once you've done the answer to a paper, you should reconcile your answer with the examiner marking scheme, that how many points are given in the examiner marking scheme, which reconcile with the points you identified in the case study. Now, when you look at the examiner marking scheme, examiner will give you a lot of suggestions that these are the relevant points, not the answer. I'm not saying the answer, I'm saying marking scheme. I'll just be showing you the marking scheme, but you need to reconcile your answer points with the examiner answer points. If 50% or more of your points get reconciled with the examiner points, it's good. Again, I'm not saying the answer. When I come to the technical marks on the day 3, I will show you the examiner wordings. Examiner wordings is very clear that it's not necessarily every point you write reconcile with examiner point, because examiner is thinking differently, you are thinking differently. You need to justify your point to score marks. So your points and examiner points might be different, but not all of them. If there are 10 points in the answer, 5 of them might match with examiner, 5 of them might not match with examiner. That's wonderful. But if there are 10 points in your answer and 10 points in the examiner answer, and none of your point match with examiner answer, that is a bit of a challenge. That is a bit of a challenge. So you need to understand that you need to reconcile yourself with examiner. Answer, no, big cross, no answer, marking scheme. And in the marking scheme, the examiner gives you the bullets of the points which should be in your answer. And reports. See the reports. If you have done a question number 1 of the September 18 exams, then go and see the marking scheme. Just let me give you some suggestions over here before I move on. Okay, I hope you can see a Word file for the day 1. This is something I will be using every day and will be sharing with you at the end of the webinar on your WhatsApp group. Can you all see the Word file in front of your screen? Please confirm that. Okay, great. Thank you. Now listen to me very carefully. See, practice. The very first day, day 1. Now, when you're practicing, what I should suggest you, for example, you attempted question number 1 of September 18 exams on the practice platform, right? You completed that. So you attempted the question number 1 of the September 18 exam on the platform. You wrote the answer, right? Now, you have your answer with you on the platform. You have your answer with you on the platform, right? Next step, what you do is open the examiner answers, go to the marking scheme, at the end of the examiner answer, at the end of the examiner answers. I'll just show you that for your guidance. Go to the marking scheme at the end of the examiner answer and reconcile how many points mentioned in the examiner marking scheme did or did not reconcile with your answer. Sorry, how many points mentioned in the marking scheme did reconcile with your answer? How many? So you open up the examiner answer, go to the last few pages where you have the marking scheme. I'll just show you that, and then see how many points mentioned in the examiner marking scheme did reconcile with your answer. Now, even if 50% or more reconcile, that's good. If it's less, don't worry about it. Not every point will reconcile. Not every point will reconcile. Come out of that stress level, right? Not every point will reconcile because there is a different thinking process in your mind and in the examiner mind. You are thinking in a different context. Examiner is thinking in a different context. If I write an answer and you write an answer and the examiner write an answer, even my answer will not reconcile 100% with the examiner answer. Even your answer will not reconcile 100% with the examiner answer. So you cannot judge that examiner answer is the yardstick to pass. No, examiner answer is not a yardstick to pass. It's just a suggested answer. It's just a suggestion by the examiner that this is what you could have written. But if you are close to that, like 50%, that's good. You cannot be 100% matching the examiner answer. So please come out of that stress level, right? So you open the examiner answer for September 18. So open the examiner answer of September 18, right? Then the next thing, now open the examiner report. Now open the examiner report for question number 1 of September 18. And read the examiner report. Read the examiner report to identify what were the weaknesses and strengths. What were the weaknesses and strengths the examiner has mentioned for question 1, September 18. So what are the strengths and weaknesses the examiner has mentioned for the question number 1, September 18, where the student went good and where the student went bad? So you should know the weaknesses and strengths of the students actually when they give the exam, weaknesses and strengths, and then see any weakness mentioned in the examiner report, is that part of your answer? Any weakness mentioned in examiner report, is that part of your answer? If yes, mitigate that for the next question, And any strength mentioned in the examiner report, is that part of your answer? Is that part of your answer? This will motivate you. Wonderful. Now look at this 5 bullets. Just read these 5 bullets in front of you and tell me, is that giving you some conclusions here? You do one question number 1 of September 18 exams, right? And for that one question of September 18 exams, you go down looking at the marking scheme at the end of the examiner answer, number 2. Then you open the examiner report for the same question. And from the examiner report, you find weaknesses. And from the examiner report, you find strengths. And then you conclude upon weaknesses and strengths in your answer. And that's the self-appraisal of your answer. You do every question this way, at least 3 to 4 past papers this way. So you do every question and get it checked. You do the second question, get it checked. You do the third question, get it checked. Not checked by the tutor, checked by yourself. See, is this a self-appraisal you can do yourself at home? Is this an example of a practice with self-appraisal? And will this give you some learnings, everyone? Tell me. If you do every question this way, will you find your flaws? Will you find your strengths? Will the strengths motivate you? And will the flaws give you a red flag? Will the flaws give you a red flag before the actual exam? Will the flaws help you overcome that before the actual exams? So is that a good approach, a practice with self-appraisal? So do one question, then go to the marking scheme of that question. Then go to the examiner report of that question. Then find the weaknesses and strengths. I'll demonstrate you that on the day 2 and day 3. I'll do exactly the same. I'll just come back to this, right? But this is one way you can practice. I hope you found this way of practicing good, that this is how you should go down and make a constructive approach towards your answer. And you will learn a lot, right? You will learn a lot from this approach. Okay, we are just moving back. I'll come back to the practice again because I just need to focus on a few more things here. So I hope you're getting the track here. Papers, marking scheme, and reports, they should go together. So if you blend them together, you will learn a lot. So you need to blend them together. You need to sync them together. But if you keep them separate, you're not getting anything. But if you bring the reports, the schemes, the paper together, like question number 1 of September 18, and you bring all the 3 resources together, you're learning excellent. So when you are doing practice of the past papers, how many documents should be there on your desktop? When you're doing a practice of the past paper, you should first open the platform. You should then open the examiner report, and you should then open the examiner answer. There should be 3 windows on your platform, on your computer or on your laptop. 1 window for the platform, 1 window for the examiner report, and 1 window for the examiner answer. You keep 3 of them. And that is the best way you can practice keeping 3 together. Is everyone getting this blend and sync exercise workable? Do you find this good for you? Everyone, waiting for your answers. Okay, that's great. Thank you so much. A lot of time when the students are doing practice, they keep the 3 documents away. And I believe a lot of time students don't keep the 3 documents with themselves. Has anyone done this before? Of keeping a paper, a report, and an answer together? Have you done it before? No, you will not refer them when you're practicing. First, you write your own answer, right? First, you write your own answer. And then you go and see the examiner marking scheme. First, you write your own answer, right? When you're writing your own answer, don't see the examiner answer. First, write your own answer. Then go and judge your answer with the examiner marking scheme, how much you got right and how much you got wrong. And then read the examiner reports. How many points in your answer are appreciated by the examiner and how many points in your answer are criticized by the examiner. So this way you will do your self-appraisal. I hope you're getting the right track, everyone. Okay, now just moving, a lot more to discuss around practice today, a lot more to discuss about knowledge today, because this is just a journal day today before we get to the specific agendas on day 2, day 3, and day 4, where I will be demonstrating whatever I'm discussing today will get implemented from tomorrow, the day 2. Now, just listen to me carefully here. Sharik, you can do it question by question. You can do it by the full paper. You can first solve the full September 18 paper, and then you go down, read the full examiner report for September 18 paper and the full examiner answer for September 18 paper. So you can do it as a whole paper, and you can do it question-wise, whichever strategy suits you best. I've just given you an example on a question-wise basis, just to make it understandable. I hope you're clear on that, Sharik. Thank you. Okay, now listen to me very carefully for the knowledge. I'm just coming to the knowledge part more critically, because over the next 14 days, what should be the best strategy to get the knowledge in your mind here? And then the practice, right? So let's do a 30 minutes discussion on knowledge and then a 30 minutes discussion on practice, and that will bring the best results for you. Let's focus on knowledge quickly for the upcoming exams. Examining team articles, right? This is the web page, right? I've given the hyperlink. You will get this presentation on the WhatsApp group, so you can just click on it and reach. This is the hyperlink. You will click on this and you'll reach the page where you have the articles available, right? Just let me show you that. Okay, can you see in front of your page, in front of your devices, the technical articles? Can you all see that? Okay, thank you. Now, the technical articles for the SBL, the wonderful thing the SBL examining team has done is they have divided the articles in syllabus wise. Can you see the syllabus wise articles? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. So you exactly know that which article relates with which syllabus area. So you just click on leadership and you get to the leadership articles. You click on governance, you get to the governance article. You click on strategy, you get to the strategy articles, right? That's a wonderful thing the SBL examining team have done. So you have articles on leadership, just 2 of them. You have governance, a lot of articles on governance, then a lot of articles on strategy. You go down this way. I'm just coming back to this web page. So this is the hyperlink, right? And you reach the page where you have the articles. Now, there are total 28 articles, which I just counted before entering the webinar, that there are total 28 articles on the web page in front of you. The question comes in, you have 14 days away from exams. Should I read all of them? And the next question comes in, if not, then which ones? Is that a valid question? Now, tell me honestly, how many of you have read each and every article by now? Is there any student taking this live webinar who claims that have done all the 28 articles? Let's go down. Let's see the chat box quickly. Any student saying, I've done 28 out of 28. Amisha, most of them, wonderful. Not all, okay, half of them finished, wonderful, not all. Okay, and any student with 0 today? Any student with 0 today? Any student says, I've not read a single? Okay, Mohammed Vakas, you say you've done 0. Okay. Okay, any other student with 0? But Vakas, have you read the books? Have you read the book readings? Have you done the book readings? Okay, Adil is saying 0. But Adil, have you done the books, notes, anything? Vakas, okay, Vakas, you've done the notes. Okay, that's good. And what about you, Adil? Have you done some books and notes and anything? Okay, that's great. That's great. Okay, now see, this is the self-appraisal, right? This is the self-appraisal. Adil was saying, I've done nothing of the 28 articles. Vakas was saying, I've done nothing of the 28 articles. Some students were saying most of them. I think Akash was saying, I've done all of them. So this is self-appraisal. This is what you need to sit down today and understand, that where am I standing today? Where are you standing? Akash, Wakas, where are you standing today? And then you need to imagine what's the way forward. So should I read all of them? If not, then which one? That's the first question. What benefit will I get after reading these articles? That's pretty simple. What benefit will I get from these articles? You will get the examiner perspective, because BPP and Kaplan is the BPP perspective and the Kaplan perspective, which might be different from the examiner perspective. If you want to close the gap between you and the examiner, so you should read the articles. So if you want to bridge the gap between you and the examiner, the best way is read the articles. But if you've done book readings and you've not read the articles, that's even good. So if any one of you have read the book and you have done 0 articles today, that's fine. But if any one of you have done 70 to 80% articles, you're on the right track. You're on the good track, because at least you're going with the examiner perspective, right? No read of reading the articles more than once. When you're reading an article, keep a paper with you or keep a pen with you and just make a summary. When you read an article, after reading the article in 10 minutes, make a summary of your own. Make a summary of your own. If you make a summary of your own, pen, that would be excellent. So should I read all the 28 articles? Now, just one suggestion, if I go back to the page of the article and just need to shortlist them, let's go one by one. Let's go one by one. Let's take the leadership article. Can you see the leadership articles in front of your screen? Now, from the leadership article, from the leadership area, I believe if you know the cultural web, are you all familiar with the cultural web model? Do you know the cultural web theory, all of you? Okay, so from the leadership area, I would suggest that you're not reading any articles, right? So these are just very journalized articles. Most of them have been taken from the F1 paper, the AB paper. So I don't find any sense of reading the leadership articles today when you are 14 days away from exam. So I'll put a big cross on leadership articles for the next 14 days. If you've done it when you were doing a proper study of SPL, that's excellent. But I am thinking about today, 22nd of November, that today at least you should not read these articles on leadership. Time is out. Go down. Come to governance. In governance, I would suggest you read article all about stakeholder 1, all about stakeholder 2, corporate governance from inside out. You can just leave that out. No need to read the article corporate governance inside out. Diversifying the board, should read this article. Independence as a concept in corporate governance, should read this article. Public sector governance, should read this article. Integrated reporting is such an important question in exam paper, should read this article. So if I just take on my Word file and tell you which of the 28 articles you should be reading in the last 14 days, let's make a list here. Just give me 1 minute. I hope you can all see the Word file back on screen. List of articles to read in the last 14 days. Articles to read in last 14 days. Can you all see that on your screen? Okay, great. So firstly, we have a syllabus area A. Okay, for syllabus area A, no articles. Leave it out. Come to the syllabus area B, which is governance, right? For the syllabus area B, governance. So A is leadership, no articles. Okay, syllabus area B, which is governance. Which articles to read for governance? For governance, you should read the article which is all about stakeholder, part 1, and all about stakeholder, part 2, if you want to read them. If you've done the book readings and you know about stakeholder, that's fine. Then you will be reading the article which is diversifying the board, and you will be reading the article which is independence as a concept in corporate governance. Then you should be reading the article which is public sector governance, because the question do come on public sector governance. And then you should be reading the article on integrated reporting. So how many articles from governance to read? 6, right? So 6 articles to read from governance. So total of 6 articles from governance. How many articles to read from leadership? No articles from leadership. So that's a big no. Okay, what's the next syllabus area? C, strategy. Let's see how many articles to read from strategy. Let's go back to the web page. You will get this Word file, right? Nothing to worry about. You can take a print out of it. Okay. Strategy, C. Market segmentation. Okay, that's a good article. Strategic planning process part 1 and strategic planning process part 2. All 3 articles are important. Market segmentation and strategic planning process part 1 and part 2. So you have to read both of them. So you have to read the article market segmentation. No excuse here. This is an important syllabus area. Segmentation. And then you have to read the strategic planning process. You know how important syllabus area C is in exam paper. Strategic planning process. Planning process 2, right? So 3 articles. So how many articles from strategy? 3. So all 3 articles from strategy. That gets done. Okay, next we have a syllabus area 4D, which is risk. Such an important area. COSO enterprise risk management, an important model in your syllabus. Can't skip that. So you should know about COSO. COSO is such an important phenomena, model, methodology in your syllabus. Should read it out. Strategic and operational risk. At this point in time, 14 days away from the exam, if you have a journal idea what strategic risk are, if you have a journal idea what operational risk are, I should suggest you should skip it. COSO enterprise risk management is the only article I suggest from risk. COSO enterprise risk management. Syllabus area D, risk. From risk, you're just reading one article, which is COSO enterprise risk management. And again, please, I need to clarify, this is just for the last 14 days, right? If you would have asked me this question 2 months ago, I would have suggested read all. But don't take my wordings wrong that the tutor told us just to read selected articles. This is for the time you are in. I hope you're getting my point here, everyone. So just one article from risk. Go to the syllabus area E. From syllabus area E, you have to read, I think, all of them. The first article, look at the first article on your screen. A world of intelligent agent. This was introduced ahead of the September 21 exams. And this is the most important article. You cannot skip this. I believe the testing of this article will be high for the upcoming exams. Examiner can test lots of things from this article, the world of intelligent agents. So you have to control it as an important article because it just came ahead of the September 21 exams. And I will tell you, this is a very important article because there was a change in the syllabus area E, and this article was brought for the change in the syllabus area. So this is a very, very important article, the world of intelligent agent in the syllabus area E, right? Principles and application of e-marketing. E-marketing is such an important area for SPL. Cybersecurity is such an important area. Getting connected with to the Internet of Things, that's important. Applying big data, e-commerce, all articles are important. So each and every one of them is important. The world of intelligent agent, number 1, Control C. Just give me 1 minute. If I can just copy from here and take it to my Word file, will save a lot of time for this webinar. Just give me 1 second. Just let me phrase it out. We have 6 articles to read here. The world of intelligent agent, number 1. The principle of e-marketing 2. Cybersecurity 3. Getting connected to the Internet of Things. We know technology comes a lot in your SPL paper. So no article skippings here for technology. So I cannot just give you a selected list here. Every article gets connected here, all 6 of them. Okay, so this is the list of 6 articles you have inside the syllabus area E, which is technology. Technology and all 6 articles to be read. Okay, just let me bring them up here. A, just give me 1 minute. B, sorry, 1 minute. C, D, is that clear to all of you? Can you see this in front of your screen? A, B, C, D, E, F for technology. And this first one is the most important. Let me write over here. This is the most important. All of you should read it. All of you should read it because this is in line with recent changes in syllabus, with recent changes in syllabus for syllabus area E. So you cannot ignore this. And this was introduced ahead of the September 21 exams, right? The world of intelligent Asian. Is that clear to all of you? Good. So 6 articles from technology. Let's come to F and wind up EFG. Let's go back. In syllabus area F, the easiest one and pretty easy because you know a lot from the AA paper, internal audit and risk and environmental audit. Just one article to read from here. That is just the internal audit. So from syllabus area F, organizational control, just one article, internal audit. Organizational control. And you will just be reading one article here, which is internal audit. I hope you're clear with this. Then you come down with G, syllabus area G, back to my web page. Syllabus area G, ethical finance in planning and decision making. Just one article, finance in planning and decision making. Performance appraisal. So should read it. Finance in planning. Finance in planning. That is performance appraisal. Should read it, right? So you should read it out. Comes to the last syllabus area, H. Let's go back to the web page. There is an article, innovation and change management. Yes, the Baldrige performance excellence model, such an important model for your syllabus, cannot leave that out. Planning for success, a successful project management. Project management is such a crucial area of past papers, knowing about how project management should be initiated and how it should be implemented. Blockchain, such an important area. Cryptocurrency, such an important areas in the present era. Performance indicators, all articles are important. All articles are important here. So just let me copy this down. Performance excellence and change management, all articles are important here. Let me take the factors down here. Performance excellence and change management, syllabus area H. So performance excellence and change management. Just copy all the articles here. We have the article A, the Baldrige performance excellence model. You have to read it out. Comes the next one. Sorry, the A, the B. Comes the next one, the blockchain. So the blockchain, the next one, third. You have to read this out, the blockchain technology, the blockchain one. The fourth one, the cryptocurrencies, and the fifth one, the performance indicators. And that is it. So how many articles under performance excellence? 5 in total, 5 articles, right? From here. Just give me 1 minute if I can just arrange the file in order. So once you get it, you know exactly what is to be done here. I'll just improve the presentation of the file once it comes to you, so you exactly know what to do. So now count the articles. 5 articles for syllabus area H. Finance and planning, just 1 article. So that's 6 articles in total. Organizational control and audit, 1 article. So that's 7 articles. Technology, 6 articles. So that's a total of 13. Risk, 1 article. So that's 14. Strategy, 3. That's 17. Governance, 6. So that's 23. No article from leadership. So list of articles to read is 23. Now everyone should conduct a self-appraisal and understand where are you standing today in terms of the 23 articles. Now, I think Akash has done all of them. So you are in a very good position. Some of you said 70%, 80%, so you're in a good position. But those of you who have read the books and not read the article, you can still skip articles, provided you read the article, which is The World of Intelligent Agent. The World of Intelligent Agent, everyone should read it, right? Now, you should conduct your self-appraisal. You should know where are you standing and what you should do. So some of you needs to read another 4 articles, another 5 articles, another 6 articles. Some of you might need to read all of them, but The World of Intelligent Agent is a must to read article. Is everyone clear on examining team articles in front of your screen now in terms of presentation? Okay, Vakas, that's wonderful. Because you've done the book readings, you've done the notes, no need to go back to the articles. But Vakas, please ensure you read the article World of Intelligent Agents, right? That's extremely important. So everyone needs to do a self-appraisal for articles. Where are you standing? If you've done books, then no need to go to the articles, but still repeating my words, the World of Intelligent Agent is an important article. Please don't skip that. So is everyone clear with the articles? Good, move on. Revision of the key models and theories. I'll give you one good suggestion on this shortly. Which is extremely important. It is extremely important that you know the crux of each syllabus area, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. The main aspects should be on your fingertips. So you should know the main aspects of leadership. You should know main aspects of governance. You should know main aspects of strategy, risk, performance excellence, finance and planning, everything. How would you do that? I'll just give you a good example. There is no rote learning, right, in SBL because it's a case study paper, but you should know the main aspects of your syllabus like key models or theories to survive better in exam environment. So you cannot say, okay, if there is no need for a rote learning, so I should not do anything. No, the articles, the books, you need to make a crux, you need to make a summary, you need to make a synopsis of key things you have in a SBL paper, revision of the key models and theories. Just let me show you how would you go about it. Let me go back to my Word file. I hope you can see the Word file again on the screen. Let's do something very, very important now. Revision of key models. How would you go about it? I'm just giving you one suggestion for the last 14 days, right? Listen to this very carefully. Revision of key models and theories. How to go about it in last 14 days. Now, you know, there are in every syllabus area, almost you have an theory or you have some good models to go down with, and you should be knowing it. Now, for example, I normally recommend my students that they should develop mind maps because mind maps are important for every syllabus area. For example, I should know one thing, if I can go down making it in terms of the bigger syllabus area like corporate governance first. If I can just formulate something on your screen and then I write it in words. See, this is how you make it. If I can just demonstrate that in a very proper manner. In the center, I'll put corporate governance, CG. CG is the corporate governance. And in the bracket, I put that corporate governance is the syllabus area B. Bracket close. Okay. Then I should think about what is the main things about corporate governance, which I should have on my fingertips. 14 days away is my exams. So the very first thing I should know from corporate governance is I should know the number one, I should know the concept of an agency relationship. I should know who is a principal and who is an agent. So I should be very good on agency. Maximum, I should be very good on the unitary board and the two-tier board. I should know the difference between a unitary board and a two-tier board. Unitary versus a two-tier board. I should be very good on that. I should be good on the Menlo metrics. I should know the power and interest. I should know how to classify that in exam paper. I should be very good on the Menlo metrics. I should know the power and interest. I should be very clear on power and interest. I should know who are keep satisfied and who are key players, how to identify them from a case study. I should be very good on the part of integrated reporting, because that's a very key area of corporate governance. I should be very good on integrated reporting. I should know the 6 capitals of integrated reporting to be good. So I should know the 6 capitals of integrated reporting like this. And you can list them down if you want to, because you're making your own mind map. So you need to make a mind map very productive so you can learn things down. If you want to write a breakup of something, you can write a breakup of them. So you can just take one paper. See, you can take one paper like this, and you can just make a mind map on a paper, a 1 A4 size paper. And if I hope you can see it or not, I've just tried making a mind map on this paper with my pen, but I'm just trying to visualize that on your screen as well. So you just remember key things. Integrated reporting, then you move on and you say, okay, beside integrated reporting, I should be knowing about the role of committees. I should be knowing about committees, and I should be knowing about the roles of the committees. I should be knowing about the role of the audit committee, AC. I should be knowing about the role of the nomination committee. I should be knowing the role of the risk committee, and I should be knowing the role of the remuneration committee, RC. I should know the roles of the committees to be good in corporate governance. Further, I should be knowing about CSR, corporate social responsibility. I should know the model, Gray-Owen-Adam. I hope you all know that, Gray-Owen-Adam, Gray-Owen-Adam. I should know about that. Okay, I should know about the Carroll model. Okay, I should know about the Carroll model. Carroll model. Okay, that is it. So to me, if I'm preparing, I should know these basic things from corporate governance to be on the best side. I should know about agencies, the 2-tier boards, the unitary board. I should know about Menlo metrics. I should know about integrated reporting. I should know about CSR. I should know about the committees, the roles of committees, etc. But you need to develop your own mind maps this way. You can do the breakups. For integrated reporting, you can write the 6 capitals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For role of committees, you can write just 1 to 2 roles each committee. So you can make your mind map look very productive. So you can just take a paper, landscape, and you can develop it on the landscape paper. I hope you can see that, right? Everyone. So that's how you will go about it. So is it good enough? Are you getting the point of mind mappings? So you can do a lot of mind mapping. Just let me show you another mind mapping here, right? Just give me 1 minute. If I can show you another mind mapping. See this. I do another mind mapping of environments. How many environments should I be knowing for my paper to appear for? Now we know environment is part of the syllabus area C, so you can put in the bracket C syllabus area, which is part of the strategy. I know, okay, there is one macro environment which I should be knowing, macro environment or the external environment. I should be knowing about an industry environment. If the question asks for an industry analysis, I should be knowing about the national environment. If the question is asking for the evaluation of the national environment, I should be knowing about it. Then I can write over here, okay, the macro environment is the pestle, the bigger one. The industry is the Porter 5 forces. I can write the Porter 5 forces if you want to write them down. Porter 5 forces, and you can write the Porter 5 forces down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then the national is the Porter diamond, and the Porter diamond consists of 4 things. I hope you can recall them and write here, Porter diamond, and you can write 1, 2, 3, 4. This is how you make a list of environment. So you're getting that perspective. If you keep making them over the next 14 days, you keep a pen and paper with you and you say, okay, today I'll make a mind map of 4 areas. I'll make a mind map of committees. I'll make a mind map of NEDs. I make a mind map of environment. I make a mind map of risk. And you will be so happy with it, right? But at least you're learning. Just let me give you one more perspective here, and we're exiting out of this drill. Suppose you make a mind map of risk, which is another important area. You make a mind map of risk. Now, how many things I should know from risk? A syllabus area D. Now, from risk, I should be knowing about a risk register. I should know the fundamentals of the risk register. A couple of times in the past paper, examiner has given us a risk register and asked us to evaluate the risk from the risk register. Risk register, you should know how to make it as well, because it's part of the formats. I'll be covering formats tomorrow. I will be telling you the format of a risk register, but examiner can even ask you to develop a register. But in the past papers, registers have been given and you need to assess the risk. So you should know a risk assessment. You should know how a risk is assessed. You should know the likelihood of the risk, how to go about it. You should know about the impact of the risk. With the risk assessment, you should also know about the heat map. You should know about the heat map like this. And you know the likelihoods and impact and the heat map, what exactly the heat map do. Then again, you should know the risk mitigations. You should know the strategies for risk. What are strategies for risk management? I hope you know the famous model, the TARA model: transfer, acceptance, reduction, and avoidance, the strategies to mitigate the risk. So these are mitigations. Mitigate the risk. You should know the, you should know the role of the risk committee. Role of risk committee. And you should also know the COSO. You should also know the COSO, enterprise risk management. Enterprise risk management. See, you just made a holistic picture of the risk area of the syllabus. But I hope you're getting the track here. No, ALAP is not in the syllabus, Amisha. ALAP has been deleted from the syllabus. That's the syllabus changes you should be knowing now. ALAP has been deleted, right? The Tucker 5-question model has been deleted from the syllabus. So Tucker is no more in the syllabus. ALAP is no more in the syllabus. They have been deleted from the syllabus. Is everyone clear? So will you? Yes, I'll share this Word file with you. So you will get my mind maps, which I put on the screen. So everything I'm putting on the screen, it will be saved and given to you on the WhatsApp. So don't be worried about it, right? But try to develop your own mind maps. Will you be developing your own mind maps? Have you got an idea? Is that the best way to put your knowledge in your mind? So if you develop your own mind maps, that's productive, right? So that's what we were discussing, knowledge. So revision of the key models and theories. Will you go about it? Will you start keeping a pen and paper with you? And on a paper, both sides, on one side, you put strategy, on the other side, you put the environment, or on one side, you put the risk, on the other side, you put the internal controls. So you're saving the paper, you're saving the planet, you're saving the environment as well, not using a lot of papers as well, right? That's part of CSR, right? Practice. Now, in terms of practice, and the final thing of today, I've just guided you about practice, right? You need to use the practice platform as much as possible in these last 14 days before exams to gain the right confidence over the interface of the platform, its features, its commands, and how to improve efficiency before the actual CB paper. I'll be using the platform on the final day. I'll spend the whole day on the platform guiding you about how you read, how you plan, how you annotate, how you copy paste, how you use the scratch pad. Should you use the scratch pad? Should you not use the scratch pad? So everything about the platform, I'll be doing a comprehensive drill on that on the 4th and final day. But I hope you all have started practicing on the platform. Yes or no? Right? So please ensure that you go with the platform. You're practicing on the platform. How many questions you have on the platform? Total 8. You have 5 actual exams. I'll just show you that on the platform. And you have 3 specimen exams on the platform. So that makes a total of 8 questions on the platform. How many total questions you have for SBL since September 18 exams? Look at this. Look at this. On the left-hand side of your screen, you can see a picture. You can see a picture on the left-hand side of the screen, which I've taken from the platform. Right? Now, on the platform, what do you have? On the platform, you have the December 20 paper. I hope you can see this. You have a December 20 paper on the platform. On the platform, you have the March-June 21 paper, the March-June 21 paper. And then on the platform, you have 3 practice exams. You have the practice exam 1, you have the practice exam 2, you have the practice exam 3. Actually, the practice exam 1 is the September 18 paper. The practice exam 2 is the December 18 paper, and the practice exam 3 is the March-June 19 paper. Then you have 3 specimen exams, specimen 1, specimen 2, specimen 3. So you have 3 specimen exams, and how many actual papers are there? You have September 18 actual paper, you have December 18 actual paper, you have March-June 19 actual paper 3, then you have the December 24, and you have the March-June 21 5. So how many actual papers you have on the platform, everyone? Platform 5. So how many actual papers are there? If you count from September 18 to March-June 21, the actual number of papers are 7. Which papers are not available on the platform? Look at this. September, December 19, this one, and March 20. These are not available on the platform. So what you can do, can you write the answer of September, December 19, and can you write the answer of March 20 on the blank workspace? I hope you all know about blank workspace. So can you write the answer of the March 20 paper and the September, December 19 paper on the blank workspace? So in total, since the September 18 exams, how many past papers we have? We have a total of 7 past papers and 3 specimen exams. 7 past papers and 3 specimen exams. So that is a total of 10. So out of the 10, how many are available on the platform? 7. 3 specimen exams, 8. 3 specimen exams and 5 actual exams. Right? And how many are not available on the platform? 2. September, December 19 and March 20. Should you have a PDF copy of March 20? Should you have a PDF copy of the September, December 19? Yes, because you will be reading it like a normal paper and you will be writing the answer on the blank workspace. So just the 2 past papers you should have on the PDF. September, December 19, I hope you're getting my point, and the March 20. And you will write the answer on the blank workspace. But the remaining questions you can do on the platform. 10 questions. Should I do the kit? That was a frequently asked question. Now look at the answer. Should I do the kit? Let's go back to this Word file. I hope you can all see the Word file on your screen. Let's take the next page of this Word file. Should I do kit? Now look at the answer. There are a total of 10 papers available for you to practice, which includes, number 1, 7 actual exams and 3 specimen exams. The 3 specimen exams, the specimen 1, the specimen 2, and the specimen 3. And there are 7 actual exams from September 18, December 18, March, June 19. Then you have September, December 19. Then you have the March 20. Then you have the September, December 20. And then you have the March, June 21. Which of them is not on the platform? The September, December 19 and the March 20. These 2 are not on the platform, right? These 2 are not on the platform. So you have to do them on the blank workspace. So you have to do them on the blank workspace. So you have to do this on the blank workspace. This way. Right? You have to do it on the blank workspace, right? The rest you can do on the practice platform, and the 3 specimen exams, right? These are also on the practice platform. I hope you're clear with that, right? So there are a total of 10 papers available for you to practice, which includes the 7 actual exams and 3 specimen exams, and only September, December 19 and March 20 is what you need to practice on blank workspace. Rest all is available on the practice platform. Rest all is available on practice platform. form. Now, should I do the kit? No, you should not do kit, because kit is not the right exam rigor. The right exam rigor is the 10 papers, because that's been developed by the SBL examining team. If you do the 10 papers over the next 14 days, just keeping one paper a day, and you do it 10 days, you're finished with 10 papers. That's the best preparation you have for the SBL papers, SBL exams coming up in December 21. I would not recommend a kit, because the questions of kit are no way matching the maturity level, no way matching the rigor of the actual SBL exam. So if you want to get the right maturity, right rigor of the SBL exams, the 10 past paper is the key to success. You should not do kit, rather focus on doing 10 out of 10, all the papers available, with the examiner reports where possible, with the marking scheme where possible, and you will be excellent. Is everyone getting my perspective here? But if any one of you have done the kit, that's fine, because every one of you need to find your own answer. If you are a kit student, do the kit. But as a recommendation, in the last 14 days, you need to do the past papers, only the 10 past papers, right? And ensure you read the examiner reports of these past papers. You look at the marking schemes of these past papers, because you will learn a lot for your upcoming exams. I hope you're all clear on it. Is everyone clear on this practice and how many questions are on the platform? How many questions are not on the platform? Is this picture in front of your screen clear? Can you all see this picture in front of your screen? And is that clear to all of you? Okay, that's great. So this is the practice, right? And how you should be going about it. Okay, how to use the practice platform, the overview of the platform, right? And I hope you know how to log into the platform. You must have started using it. 14 days away from exams, there should not be any student saying I'm not using the platform. I hope you're all using the platform, right? On the last day of the webinar, I will be guiding you about how to use the features of the platform. What are the good features and what are not the good features, what you should use, what you should not use, right? But just listen to me one thing very carefully here. Look at this. You should do a lot of practice on the platform, because if you're doing a lot of practice on the platform, you will become familiar with the workspace. And that's exactly the workspace you will be looking for in the actual exam. You should do a lot of practice, because a lot of practice will help you with annotating, using the highlighters, using the scratch pad, using the calculator. Now, some of you might be comfortable using a scratch pad. Some of you might not be, because that's how you should be. There is no one rule of the practice platform. Some of you like to use the scratch pad. Some of you don't like it. So that's totally your decision. Some like to use their own calculators, and some like to use the calculator on the screen. Now, that's totally your option. So you need to find what's best for you. You like calculators on screen? Yes, no. You like scratch pads? Yes, no. Highlighter is the only way you annotate. But how many colors of highlighters are there? I think there are like 3 to 4 colors, or 4 to 5 colors of highlighters are there, right? How can you use different colors highlighter to segregate your reading in the first 1 hour? I will be showing you that in the last day, that how different color highlighters can really help you when you're reading through the first 1 hour. So the first 1 hour of reading, how can the different highlighting colors can be good? So if I'm reading the question number 1 and I found an answer of a question number 1, suppose I keep a green color for the question number 1, I use the orange color for the question number 2, I keep the yellow color for question number 3. Now, when I'm reading the case, wherever I find some material for question number 3, I'll highlight that in yellow. Wherever I find any material for question number 2, I highlight it in orange. Or wherever I find something for question number 1, I might highlight that in green. So you can use different colors to annotate the case study. So you exactly know, okay, this is for the question number 1, this is for the 2, this is for the 3, and I'll demonstrate that on the last day. I hope you're getting my point here, everyone. Have you used different colors highlighters so far in segregating your requirements and segregating your case study? Have you used that, anyone? Okay, that's good. Some of you have been using it. Okay, that's great. That's great. Because why ACCA is giving you so many colors of highlighter? Just to pick up the one you like, or is there any other purpose? Is there any other purpose of giving you so many colors of highlighter? There is a purpose, right? And I'll be demonstrating that on the last day. Okay, how many windows to open up? I've seen a lot of students, they open lots of windows. Exhibit 1 is open, Exhibit 2 is open, the word processor is open. On one screen, you have opened like 3 windows or 4 windows, and then you get puzzled which window to close, which window to open, which window to read. How many windows you should keep on your workspace? Now, it depends upon you. Even when I'm working on my laptop, I don't like 2 windows. I just like 2 windows at a time, even on my laptop. So it depends upon you. You are a very organized student. You don't want many windows to be opened on your laptop. So the same goes with your workspace. Some student keep the workspace very tidy. Some student keeps the workspace very messy, but it depends from student to student. Ideally, 2 windows at a time, right? Not more than 2 windows. And I'll be demonstrating that on the last day of the webinar. Yes, on the practice platform, right? 2 windows at a time, not more than that, because you get puzzled, confused, and your stress level goes up, right? Copy paste, how to go about using copy paste, undo, redo, how they can benefit you in saving the time. What should you copy? What should you not copy? Whether examiner likes to copy paste or not likes to copy paste will come all on that on the 4th and the final day of the webinar. But that's some important things you should be knowing about the platform, right? Blank workspace. How many questions are you doing on the blank workspace? The blank workspace is just a mirror image of the practice platform. So if any question is not available on the actual platform, then you can do it on the blank workspace. How many questions are you doing on the blank workspace? 2 of them. One is March 20 and one is the December 19. These 2 questions you're doing on the blank workspace, right? I hope you're loud and clear on that. Okay, critically review the marking scheme. I've already guided you about the marking schemes. I will show you a reflection of that. Just let me show you that the marking schemes on your screen and the examiner reports as well. Okay, just first look at the examiner report. Can you all see the examiner report in front of your screen? Please tell me before I show you the answers. Can you all see the examiner reports? Okay, this is the latest one, right? Look at this. Is the examiner telling us in the examiner report journal comments? Can you see the first thing is the journal comments? Why student fail in the SBL paper? Journal comments. Then can you see the format of the exam? Examiner telling us about the format of the exam in the examiner report. Examiner telling us about the overall exam performance, number 3, content. Then examiner is telling us about performance of the technical marks, what you should do, what you should not do. Day 3. Day 2 tomorrow, professional marks. We'll be going through professional marks tomorrow, and I will be giving you examiner reports here as well tomorrow, professional skill marks. Then examiner comes to the specific comment. This is exactly what I was telling you 30 minutes ago, that if you attempt the question number 1A, then you come down and you read the comments of the question number 1A to find what was good and what was bad. Then the comments of the question number 1B, then the comments of the question number 2A, then the comments of the question 2B, 3A, 3B, 4A, 4B. See how lengthy these examiner reports are? So every question should be reconciled with the examiner reports to find, is there something in your answer which the examiner don't like? And is there something in the exam answer which the examiner like? So will you do the reconciling efforts as guided to you today? Will all of you be doing that in terms of the questions? See, there are specific comments, right? And the examiner report goes. And see, you have journal comments, you have the format of the exam, you have exam performance. Examiner is telling us about the overall performance. It's a 14-page document. Examiner is telling us about, see this, how good the examiner is. He's also telling us about that these are the articles you should be reading, the important articles. Examiner is telling us about, examiner is even giving us a hyperlink. You just click on this and you open it. So easy, right? Examiner has given you hyperlinks. If he wants you to read something, he's given you a hyperlink. You just click on it and you reach there. These are wonderful resources. Please do read them. Please do read them. Okay, now just give me 1 minute. I can show you one specific answer booklet. So you know exactly what is to be done in terms of the answer booklet, which student tends to ignore at times. Okay. Can you see the answers for March and June 21 exams in front of your screen? Please confirm that. Can you see the answers in front of your screen? Okay, great. This is from the latest exam, right? March, June 21. Now, what is the problem with student when they write their own answer? When they write their own answer, what they do? They go and open this answer, which is in front of you. And they go to, okay, they go down and they say, okay, this is the answer for the question number 1. See how the examiner wrote the answer. Now, if I am reading the examiner answer as a tutor, I will read it only for how the report has been formatted. At least from here, I can learn how the examiner write the report. Can I learn the format of the report? That this is how the report should start. I can learn this. So if a report comes to the exam in December 21, should I know how the report is structured? How to write a report from the answer? I'm not reading the answer, right? I'm just looking at the formats from the examiner answer. Examiner answers can be a wonderful document for learning the formats. How the examiner started the report, I can learn that. Then I go down. I'm not bothered about what the examiner wrote in the answer and how long the answer is. Down, 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 B part, B part, B part, B part. See, the examiner is ending the report without nothing, no sincere, yours sincerely, yours faithfully. That's not part of the report. That's part of the letter. But examiner is giving a conclusion at the end of the reports by saying overall. Overall is like a conclusion, right? The report has to end with a conclusion, something like in conclusion, comma, or something like overall, comma. So I can just learn how the examiner started the report, how the examiner ended the report. What the examiner wrote in the report, none of my concern, because that's what I need to write. That's what you need to write in the exam hall. So can I learn the formats? Can I learn how the examiner wrote the briefing note? No to, from, date, subject in the briefing note, just the heading briefing note, and the examiner started to write the answer. So can I learn formats from the examiner answer, everyone? Is that a good source of learning the formats? Is that a good source to how to start writing a briefing note, how to end a briefing note, how to start writing a report, how to end writing a report? So try to find what's good in the examiner answers. Now, before I take you to the answer marking scheme, I just want to discuss one very important thing here, which is of interest to you. Even though I have to do it on the day 3, but I have to do it today as well. Can you just read this paragraph on your screen? I'm giving you 1 minute. Can you just read this, the red box? I'm giving you 2 minutes. Just read and tell me, have you got some sense out of these 2 paragraphs? Start reading the paragraph in front of you, the red box. You have 2 minutes. Have you got some sense? I hope lots of misconceptions are mitigated. Lots of misunderstandings are mitigated. So examiner is saying that it is not always possible to publish suggested answers which comprehensively cover all the points. So is examiner answer giving us all the points? No. Examiner saying it's very difficult. Credit will be given. This is good for you. Credit will be given to candidates for points not included in the suggested answer. So will you get marks even for something not in the examiner answer? Yes, because you might wrote something which examiner didn't, but you justified what you wrote. So if you have a justification for your point in the context of the case, you picked up something from the case study, you justified something from the case study, you had a very specific point from the case study, you will get credit of that, even though examiner has not covered that in the answer. I hope you're getting that relevance. Is that something motivating you, or is that something demotivating you? So is examiner answer the benchmark? Is examiner answer the benchmark for success? Yes or no? Is examiner answer the benchmark for success? No. So can you have an answer different from examiner answer and still get credit for that, still get passing marks for that, still get excellent marks for that? Yes. Be familiar with that. Next point. In addition, because it's an integrated case, candidates may reintroduce a point made in other questions or part of questions as long they are made in specific context of the requirement. For example, you wrote a point in 1A, answer 1A, because it's an integrated case. You wrote something about the environment in the answer 1A when you were writing the political environment. But when you were writing the answer for 3C, you reintroduce that point of political environment for making a judgment on the answer for 3C. So can you reintroduce a point again somewhere later in your answer, which you've written before in your answer, because it's an integrated case study? But when you are reintroducing a point of a political environment later in somewhere else in your paper, that will be reintroduced in a different perspective. Are you getting this? So can a point be, can one point be twice in your paper in different context? Suppose you wrote about political environment in 1A, but again, you reintroduce the point of political environment in 3C in a different context. Is that right? Is the examiner happy with that? Because it's one case study. So there can be repetition in different contexts. There can be repetition in different perspectives. So one point can be reintroduced in a different phenomena, in a different perspective. That's quite possible. Examiner is very happy with that. The last thing, the suggested answer presented below give much more detail than would be expected from the candidates. Look at this. Give much more detail than would be expected from a candidate, and you get impressed with examiner answer and you say, oh, I have to write this much. Sorry, I have to write. Just give me 1 minute. And you say, I have to write this much for staff. When I write something about staff, I might just write this much for staff and get 2 out of 2. And you say, oh, examiner has written 3 paragraphs about staff. I should write 3 paragraphs about staff. I hope you get these things right in the right perspective, everyone. I just want to show you something, even though these things will be coming over the next 4 days. But because I need just to reinforce my point, look at this in front of your screen. I hope you can see this in front of your screen. Just 1 minute. This is a document which I've put in the Google Drive. Can you see this article in front of your screen? 10 things to learn from September 2018 exams. This was the very first article which was written by the examiner after the first exam sitting. September 2018 was the first exam sitting, right, of the SBL. An examiner wrote an article, 10 things to learn from it. I've put this in the Google Drive. And see what the examiner is telling you here in this article. If anyone of you have bothered about reading it 14 days prior to your exams. So first of all, there are a lot of misconceptions about examiner answers. Lots of students consider examiner answers as the benchmark, as the threshold of success. I hope you come out of those misconceptions. And see, the examiner is writing 10 things to learn from the first exam sitting. One of them is extremely important. The first one. Can you just read 10 things to learn from September 2018 exams? Can you just read this point here in the red box quickly? Can you just read this point here? Point number 5 on your screen. Start reading it. So what is the length of the 1 point examiner is liking? If you write more than 4 sentences for 1 point, examiner is liking that. So maximum is 4 sentences, right? More than 4 sentences, examiner is not liking that. More than 4, examiner is saying, oh, that's bad. 4 and less than 4, that's good. Look at this word, sentence. Sentence. What does a sentence mean? A sentence means where you put a full stop. Where you put a full stop. Can you see the examiner answer back on screen? Can you see the examiner answer back on screen? Please confirm that. Okay, sentence. See this. This is a sentence. When you put a full stop, where you put a full stop, that is a sentence. Where you put a full stop, that is a sentence. So sentence is this. Sentence is not a line. Examiner is not saying 4 lines. Is that examiner is saying 4 sentences maximum. I hope you know the difference between a line and a sentence. What is a sentence? When you put a full stop. So if you, after 1.5 line, you put a full stop, that is a sentence. So some sentences can be more than 1 line. Some sentences can be 1 line. Try to find a difference between what is a sentence and what is a line. I hope you know that, right, everyone? So examiner is saying you cannot write answers as long as my answers, because my answers are tutorial guidance, right? So examiner is saying my answers are tutorial guidance. So don't just go with my answers. So my answers give more detail than expected from a student under exam conditions. So I hope this first paragraph at the start of the examiner answer is important. And how many of you just ignore this paragraph and you jump straight to the answer? This 2 paragraphs before the start of the examiner answer is giving us so much ray of hope, so much motivation, so much confidence that examiner answer is not the benchmark. We can learn things from the examiner answer, but at least not the length of the answer. We can learn points from the examiner answer, but not the length of the examiner answer. We can learn the formats, but not the length of the examiner answer. I hope everyone is clear on that, right? Now, just moving to my agenda. When you look at the answer booklet, and on the last few pages of the answer booklet, okay, right here, this is on the 8th page, right? A total 14-page document. And on the 8th page, can you see examiner is telling us about the marking scheme here for the March-June 21? Question number 1A. Question number 1A. Marking scheme. Now you need to when you write an answer for 1A on the platform, and you wrote the answer for 1A and you're very happy. Now, once you wrote the answer for 1A, you come back to the marking scheme, not the answer. Look at my words, marking scheme. Come to this 1A and see, examiner is telling in 1A up to 2 marks for each good point. And examiner is saying these are some of the points you could have in your answer. See how many points the examiner is saying here, which could be in your answer. But examiner is saying 2 for each. Can you see the bullets? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Can you see 10 bullets given by the examiner here? That these were the relevant points in your answer? 10 bullets. 10 multiplied by 2 is 20. But how many marks were there in total? 16. So if you wrote 8 of them is good for a 16 marks answer. But examiner is saying these are the points which could be in your answer. Points could include. Could, not should, could. Now you look at the point. So you say, oh, this first point about the unpaid volunteer. Oh, that's in my answer. Wonderful. The second point, need to keep staff informed of changes. No, that's not in my answer. Cross. Corporate donor, high power, low interest. Oh, that's in my answer. Tick. Keep corporate donors satisfied. Oh, that's in my answer. Council having high interest. Council controls 31% of the funding. Oh, I wrote that in my answer. Tick. Council is a key player. No, I didn't wrote about that. Cross. This is what you need to do. Tick, cross, tick, cross, tick, cross, and see how much of the points in the examiner answer was in your answer. If 50% of them match, wonderful. 50%, wonderful. Because you might have extra points which is not written here. You might have extra points which are not written here. Will examiner still give you credit for an extra point not written here? Yes. Because examiner is saying points could include. If the examiner says points should include, then every one of us would fail the SBL paper. So are you getting the track that how would you reconcile your answer for 1A with the points given at the marking scheme? In the marking scheme, sorry. So will you learn that every valid point you write gives you 2 marks? I'll be coming to the marking schemes more specifically on the day 3, right? Because on the day 3, we have to work on the technical marks, the marking schemes. But I hope you get the importance of marking schemes. So what is in the marking scheme? Just the marking scheme or even the points which should be in your answer? Sorry, which could be in your answer. But is everyone getting the reconciliation process? When you write an answer for 1A, you come to here and you look at, okay, my points, examiner points, and you reconcile. Not the answer, not the answer. But if you want to know how to write a report, if you want to know how to write a briefing note, if you want to know how to write a press release, will the examiner answer help you with that in terms of how to start and how to end? So can examiner answer be a source of formats? Yes, but cannot be a source of how lengthy you need to write. So I hope you got over with lots of misconceptions, everyone. So critically review the marking schemes and then critically review the examiner reports, right? Please ensure that. Try at least to critically review the last 2 to 3 examiner reports. Last 2 to 3 examiner reports would be very important. Okay, moving onwards. This is my suggestion to all of you. Week 1, week 2. Again, you have to do your self-appraisals. Now, today we identified how many articles to read? 23, not 28. So just put it to 23. Now, 23 means you can read 14 articles. You can read 10 articles. You can read 13 articles in week 1, and you can read 10 articles in week 2. This is just a thought process. For any student who is at 0 today, you can read 13 articles in week 1. That's like 2 articles a day. And you can read 10 articles in week 2. You will finish off at 23 articles. Past papers. In the week 1, you should do 3 past papers. September 18, December 18, and December 20. And when you attempt the December 20, because it's the second most recent paper, so when you are attempting the past paper December 20, the reason of putting it in red is that for the December 20 past paper, you will also review the marking scheme and you will also review the examiner report. So at least for one recent paper, December 20, you read the marking scheme and you read the examiner report, not for the September 18 and not for the December 18. Then you come to the week number 2. In the week number 2, you do another 3 papers. Which 3 papers? December 19, March 20, and June 21. 3 papers. For the June 21, because that's the latest paper, you will review the marking scheme just as you were doing today, and you will read the examiner report. So how many examiner reports are you reading? 1 in the week 1, 1 in the week 2. In the week 1, December 20, and in the week 2, June 21. How many marking schemes are you looking at? 1 in the week 1, September, December 20, 1 in the week 2, that is March, June 21. How many papers are you practicing? 3 in the week 1, 3 in the week 2. So that's total of 6. How many articles are you reading in the week 1 if you have not read any? 13 articles in the week 1 and 10 articles in the week 2 out of the list of 23 articles I provided you. So again, this is to be made by you. This is my. So sit down, do a self-appraisal, and then find what's good for you. Is that clear to all of you? Okay. The final thing before I wind up the day one, the recent changes in the SBL syllabus, we should be knowing about that. If you're still unfamiliar with the recent changes, these are recent changes which came from September 21 exams, and they're applicable up to the June 2022 exams. So you fall between that. You're appearing for December 21 exams. Look at the list of recent changes. I've just taken a screenshot from the SBL examining team document and put that on the screen. I hope you can see over here, deletions, sorry, deletions. How many deletions are there? 4. What is deleted? Please read that out. ALAP is deleted. Tucker 5-question model is deleted. Of something very journalized, never been asked for, inquiries from internal and external auditor, that was a miscellaneous syllabus area that is deleted. But the major syllabus area which got deleted was Tucker and ALAP. And then something deleted from the finance function. This also got deleted here. So you should know what has been deleted. But some of them are very minor syllabus areas which got deleted. You might even not be knowing about them. But I think something about ALAP is a very common phenomena, and Tucker is a very common phenomena. They got deleted. 4 deletions. How many additions can you see on your screen? How many additions can you see on your screen? 1 addition, D2, 1 addition, E3, 1 addition, J. J is not an addition, basically. J is about how you use the practice platform. So J is about your command on the computer. That's not something examinable, basically. But ACCA has introduced the syllabus area J in every strategic professional exam, whether it is SBR, SBL, AAA, AFM, APM, ATX. They have introduced the J syllabus area in every paper, because that's about using the computer techniques on the practice platform. So this is not a syllabus area, it's about the practice platform, right? This is about the practice platform, just to make student ready about the practice platform. So that is not a syllabus area you should know, or you should read from the book, or you should read from the article. That's not the case, right? I hope you're getting my point. So that's just about how you can use the practice platform more efficiently. That's just about that. So that is something which comes from practice. But 2 additions, leave aside J. How many additions are there leaving aside J? 2. This. 1 is about artificial intelligence and robotics, potential benefits, and the risk, controls, and ethical implications of artificial intelligence and reporting. What are ethical issues with artificial intelligence and reporting? What are risks with artificial intelligence and reporting? What are controls with artificial intelligence and reporting? What are benefits of artificial intelligence and reporting? And that's where the article has been written. Look at this article I was showing you about the artificial intelligence reporting, which is the syllabus area E3. Change in E3. Let me show you the article. Can you see the articles on your screen? Technical articles, everyone, please confirm that. Great. You go down, syllabus area E, syllabus area E. Okay, this article, right? See this article here. The world of intelligent agent. Let me open this. The world of intelligent agent. Look at this on your screen, right? See, this is which is in line with the changes in the syllabus. Can you see examiner saying 2021, 2022 SBL syllabus areas? So this was changed, and this article is all about artificial intelligence, all about use of artificial intelligence. This article is all about machine learning, robotics, use of robotics, the ethical issues with artificial intelligence and robotics, and conclusion. So this is the article which has come in line with the change in the syllabus area E3. Can you see this now on the screen? Machine learning, artificial intelligence, and robotics. Examiner has written a complete article on the benefits of artificial intelligence, robotics, and machine learning. Examiner has written a complete article on risk, controls, and ethical implications of artificial intelligence, robotics, and machine learning. So this area can be covered from the article, right? Is that clear? E3. So from where can you cover the syllabus area E3? If examiner asks you something about artificial intelligence, machine learning, or robotics, where the knowledge will come from? Article. If examiner asks you something about ethical implications of artificial intelligence or ethical implications of robotics, where will the knowledge come from? The article. So will you all be reading the article, The World of Intelligent Agents? Great. And what is the second change? The second change is in the area of risk. D2. Can you see the D2? D2. D2. Risk. A new concept has been added to risk, which is known as 4 lines of defense. How can you use the 4 lines of defense to mitigate the risk? How can you have an assurance on risk mitigation from 4 lines of defense? What is the 4 lines of defense? How can you use the 4 lines of defense for risk mitigation? What if the examiner asks you a question in December 21 exams? Evaluate how risk can be reduced using a 4 line of defense. And you say, oh, 4 line of defense, what is that? I don't know anything about 4 lines of defense. Now, the wonderful thing is I've already covered 4 lines of defense on my YouTube channel. See, I just want to show you this. On my YouTube channel, just let me show you that. Can you see the YouTube channel on your screen, in front of your screen? Can you see my YouTube channel? Great. Okay, you go down my YouTube channel, leave the first 5 videos, leave the first 5 videos. Can you see I've already put this 2 months ago, this on my website, on my YouTube channel. Just give me 1 minute if I can put this here. Okay, can you see this here? 2 months ago, this was already on my YouTube channel. 4 lines of defense, a 23 minutes video, which tells you all about 4 lines of defense. And then there is a 10 minutes video, which tells you about the syllabus changes in SBL, D2, D and E. So will you be able to watch this 23 minutes video on the 4 lines of defense after the webinar today? And will you be able to watch this 10 minutes video on the syllabus changes? Just 35 minutes of your precious time, and you will be done with this. So 2 months ago, I put it here for the sake of all the SBL students. So please ensure you cover the 4 lines of defense and you cover the syllabus changes from my videos here on the, just give me 1 minute. From the back to my presentation. Okay, back to the presentation, right? So 2 syllabus changes. One is E2, where the E3, sorry, where there is an article. One is D2, 4 lines of defense, where I put a video on the YouTube channel. I hope you can see the screen in front of you, right? Now, just quickly, for the September 21 to June 22 exams, there have been few changes to the syllabus. Watch my complete session on the 4 lines of defense. Look at this hyperlink. So for the syllabus changes in D2, which is the 4 lines of defense, you can watch my video on the 4 lines of defense, right? Is that clear? So for the syllabus changes D2, directly go and watch my video and you will be all clear about the 4 lines of defense, right? Next. For the syllabus changes in E3, which is about robotics, which is about artificial intelligence, and which is about machine learning, I've already shown you that there is an article, The World of Intelligent Agent, right? Look at this article, The World of Intelligent Agent, and there is the hyperlink. This is the hyperlink of the article. You just click on this hyperlink and you reach the article. You keep a paper with you and a pen with you, and you open the article and you start reading it. Wherever you get something about risk, you get something about ethics, you get something about benefits, note them down. Examiner is expecting 4 things from you. You know the risk, you know the controls, you know the ethics, and you know the benefits. Benefits of artificial intelligence, robotics, and machine learning. So how many things you should be knowing about artificial intelligence and robotics? 4. Risk, controls, ethics, and benefits. So when you're reading the article, keep a paper with you. Wherever you find a benefit, note it down. Wherever you find a risk, note it down. Wherever you find an ethics, note it down. So wherever you find a benefit, note it down. Right? So this is how you will be going down with it. Already I've covered the syllabus changes on my YouTube channel. This is the hyperlink of the changes. I've just shown you that. So if you want to know about the changes in the syllabus, which I've already covered in the webinar, you can watch my video on the YouTube. So 1 article to read about the syllabus changes, 1 video to watch, which is the 4 lines of defense, and you will be excellently prepared about the syllabus changes for the December 21 exams. Things which have been deleted majorly is ALAP and the 4 lines the Tucker model. Tucker model and ALAP. If anyone has done it, ignore it. Tucker and ALAP has been deleted. 4 lines of defense is a very important addition, and artificial intelligence and robotics is a very important addition. Is everyone clear with this? So will you be watching the YouTube channels for things? Good. Okay, so I've just shown you that on my YouTube channel, right? That this is where it is. The 2 videos, one on the 4 lines of defense and one on the changes. These 2 videos are extremely important for you to watch. Right. Quickly, last thing before I end the webinar, 3 minutes to go. Key resource library. Some important resources which I will be using over the next 3 days. These are the key resources with the hyperlinks. Importance of effective communication in SBL. I hope you know about this document. This is a document which contains the formats. So if you want to know the formats for SBL, this is a wonderful document. This is the hyperlink where you can click and reach, and you get the article on formats applicable to your SBL paper. 10 things to learn from September 18. I just shown you that in the session today, 10 things to learn, but this is the hyperlink where you can click and reach the article 10 things to learn from September 18. I'll be using it over the next 3 days. I'll be using the formats over the next 3 days. Professional skill videos, knowing about commercial acumen, knowing about skepticism, knowing about analysis, evaluation, knowing about the skills and how to use them. There are excellent videos given by ACCA on professional skills. You can watch the videos at this hyperlink. And how to use the practice platform, what are techniques of practice platform, that is given at this hyperlink. So these are 4 crucial resources which you should be exploring. Now, one last thing before I wind up my webinar, I just want to show you the Google Drive, which I have shared with you. Can you see on the screen the Google Drive, which I've shared with you for the webinar to success? Can you all see that? Great. Okay, now in this Google Drive, what I've done is that I have included some folders. I just want to guide you about that. I have included the answers of 2 recent papers, which is the September, December 20 and the March, June 21, right? Because I just suggested you that over the next 2 weeks, you have to review the marking scheme of the recent 2 papers, right? So I've just given the answers of the 2 recent papers. Is that clear? The reason of giving the answers of 2 recent papers, because in my planner, I suggested to review the answers of the 2 recent papers for marking scheme. examiner reports of the 2 recent papers, because I suggested you to read the examiner reports of the 2 recent papers, March, June 21 and September, December 20. So that's in the Google Drive. No need to search them. Key resources, the key resources which I was just telling you, 10 things to learn from September 18 and the formats. When you click on this folder, inside the folder, you have the important documents you have to read in the next 14 days, right? And past papers, not on the platform. How many past papers are not on the platform? One is March 2020 and one is September, December 19. So I've included those 2 past papers here for your ease. So everything is just a click away. You just need to click and find it. I don't want you to waste time on in the next 14 days. Everything should be with you in an organized manner. So the Google Drive is there with you. Everything is in the Google Drive. You can just search it out. YouTube channel, watching my videos on the YouTube channel. I will share the link of that on the WhatsApp as well, but it's in the presentation as well. Everything I wrote today on the Word file right here, everything I wrote today on the Word file, this will be shared with you. So don't worry about it. This will come down to you, right? So everything I wrote here on the Word file, day 1, this will come to you. So don't worry about it. You can take a printout of it and you can sit back and relax. Okay, just one final thing and winding up the webinar. Okay, now just before I wind up the webinar today, tell me, was it effective in terms of finding some motivation, right direction, right strategies over the next 14 days? Because I think this is the time when you are prepared for SBL somewhat. No one is sitting at 0. The webinar is taking place at a very crucial time when you know things, but it's just about fine tuning them, refining them. I hope you got some refinements today. I hope you got some fine tunings today. I hope you got some way out over the next 14 days. So has it benefited you, this webinar? Has this 2.5 hours of investment benefited you in finding some right track, some right strategies? I hope over the last 2.5 hours, you must have got some tips, techniques, which you must have penned down, right? So was it beneficial? Was it good? Okay, that's great. That's great. So I hope you know the agendas. A lot more to discuss over the next 3 days. Just let me put the agenda back on the screen before I end the webinar. The day 1, the agenda for next 3 days are important because a lot we learn today will get implemented, right, over the next 3 days. So over the next 3 days now, tomorrow, it's all about professional skills, examiner criticism on professional scale. What is the breakup of professional skills? How many marks can you get? How can you get marks? A lot of that, a complete drill on professional marks. Day 2. Day 3, technical marks. How much to write, how long the answer should be, what are the formats, how to write an answer, how to write a good answer, everything. And then lastly, on the day 4, we have a deep investigation of a case study. So I hope you all know the agenda of the upcoming 3 days. And I hope you like the day 1 today. The recording of this day 1 will get uploaded on the YouTube channel within the next couple of hours from now. And the support file will be shared in the WhatsApp group where you are. So I hope that is it for the session today. This is your tutor, Kashif Kamran, signing off from the day 1 of the SBL Webinar to Success for December 21 exams. I hope you all had a productive learnings and a productive day today. Wish you all a very best of luck and see you all back live in the day 2 tomorrow. Take care, have a good day and study effectively. Thank you so very much for joining the live session. Allah Hafiz and goodbye.